Laker fans, how we doing? My name is Sammy Long here with Hoops Talk. Tonight we're getting into a little Lakers Raptors preview video for tomorrow. I'm gonna get into a few things tonight. Talk about the injury report. A lot of guys out for both teams. I'm gonna get into what the Raptors do well, what they don't do well. I'm gonna get into how the Lakers bench has to contribute. They have to. Against Brooklyn was a terrible performance with only 2 points off the bench, which is really, really demoralizing, I think. And the Western Conference standings update, where the Lakers are at right now. But first, we'll start with the injury report. The Raptors don't want to win this game. It doesn't help them at all. They're out of the playoffs. It only helps their draft pick. I mean, they come up with reasons like rest day or personal reasons, but they don't want to win this game. Their best player, Scotty Barnes, is not playing. He leads the team in every single category: 20 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game, as well as 126.1 defensive rating. Gary Trent Jr. has a rest day. He's been very good for them this year. Ochai Agbaji, who's a young guard out of Kansas, couple years in the league, he's not playing as well. Jacob Poeltl's not playing as well. So all these guys really not playing for them. They will get RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly back. So, they're two good young guard / swing players in the game, but they'll get them back. But besides that, they don't really have a lot going for them on this lineup. So the Lakers have zero excuses. I mean, the Lakers do have Gabe Vincent and Cam Reddish out, which is not the greatest, especially with Gabe Vincent, because you're really hoping that he can get back into game shape for the time for the playoffs, which is only 2 weeks away. So I hope that it is just we're giving him a rest day after he he played his first NBA game in a long time. I hope his knee didn't swell up again. I don't have any reporting on that. They said it's a recovery day, but I really hope that that's the case. Cam Reddish is out, so the defenders are not there. But that shouldn't matter against this team. I don't want to hear any excuses. Coming up with this video, it's actually tough to gather information because, the Lakers should blow this team out by 30. There's really no other way around it. I hope tomorrow in the post game we're talking about how there wasn't a lot to talk about, and it was a big time Laker win, just kind of boring, foot on the gas, beat them by 30 like you should. That's what I hope we're talking about tomorrow night because there's really no excuses. So with this many people out, I mean, the Raptors, when they're healthy, they're all right, but they're averaging around 113 points per game, 19th overall. They're averaging around 43 rebounds per game, 21st overall. They do pass the ball pretty well. They get 29 assists per game, which is 5th. So they do kind of get everyone involved. But again, no excuses. I mean, this should be a game where hopefully the starters come out big time, bench contributes. And, the Lakers get to pull their guys early because they are playing a back-to-back. I know it's against Washington on the second night, who isn't a great team. But let's not forget that Washington took this team to overtime a couple weeks ago and had Jordan Poole not went cold in OT, and AD wouldn't have had a big overtime. The Lakers probably should have lost that game. So, they're not a team to just take lightly. Kuzma and guys like that. I mean, they're going to need to bring it, especially on that second night of a back-to-back where guys can be tired, especially a Laker team who has struggled in back-to-backs this season so far. But getting into how the Lakers bench has to contribute, the other night they had 2 points, which is very deflating. I mean, everyone really just looking here, Dinwiddie had 21 minutes, 0 points. Torian Prince, 15 minutes, 0 points. I mean, just not the numbers you want to see. I mean, that's not going to have you beat a Nuggets. It's not going to have you beat a Timberwolves. It's not going to have you go far in the Western Conference playoffs because it's really amazing that, the starters can be that good. LeBron, 40 points. I mean, it's crazy, like the starters all contributed, and it goes to show that the Lakers have one of the best starting fives in all of basketball. Maybe not Boston's, maybe not Denver's, but find a team other than those two that has a better starting lineup than the Lakers. And I can argue that it's the Lakers. When the Lakers are rolling, I mean, that's a tough starting five to compete with. The Lakers just need something off the bench. I know we've been talking about it, how obviously Vincent, when he's fully back, he played the other night. I'm giving him a pass. It was his first game back. He scratched. He had a bucket, but I'm not worried about him. He will get going. He's a big time player, as we saw last year in the playoffs. When Vando's back, it'll push guys down. Al talked about in the postgame last night, is there some thought to when all those guys are back, putting Reeves on the bench, putting Rui on the bench. It's tough because you don't want to mess with the starting lineup that's really gotten you this far. But at the same time, if the bench isn't giving you anything, I mean, Vando, you want to put Vando in the starting lineup for defense to really up the defensive aspect of the game, especially when you're in the Western Conference with Jamal Murray and I mean Paul George, Kevin, just guys that are just great scorers. You're gonna need that in your starting lineup. So maybe you move a Rui to the bench, even though he's been hot. Maybe you move a Reeves to the bench in hope that they can really rejuvenate this second unit, because the starting five can't carry their way to a championship. The Lakers can win a championship this year. But if the bench continues to not contribute and really not get after it in games and become a real scoring threat, they're just not going to. And it sucks, but they're just not going to. Western Conference standings update. This is, as of tonight, as of April 1st, the Lakers are a game and a half back from Sacramento. They're 2 games back from Phoenix. The Pelicans did not help us out, unfortunately, by beating them. They got blown out tonight. The Brandon Ingram injury is really kind of messing with them. They've been on a little bit of a slide. The Kings, obviously, we don't root for injuries. It sucks, but Malik Monk out 4 to 6 weeks. Kevin Huerter out for the rest of the season. I mean, that's 2 big time role players. That's probably the 3rd and 4th best players on their team that are gone. They're not playing anymore. So the Kings, they got beat by the Mavs twice. They got the Clippers tomorrow night. It pains me to say it because I hate the Los Angeles Clippers. I know all you guys do too, but we need them to win tomorrow night. If you would have said after the Lakers lost that last game of the Kings, it was like, I remember on the postgame show, we were like, yeah, there's no shot the Lakers catching the Kings, but this team's in a free fall. I mean, without Monk and Herter, they're very beatable because they really become a 2-man team with Sabonis and Fox. And if you look at those games, Fox has destroyed the Lakers, but Monk, 2 of the big games this year, went off. Herter in the second game at 28. I mean, there's a real opportunity to move up here, and I don't believe they're the same team. If the Pelicans, if they don't have Brandon Ingram, they're not the same team. They might be a little bit too far ahead in the standings to really that would have to be a complete absolute collapse from them. But hey, they haven't been winning recently, and they look pretty bad tonight against Phoenix. Phoenix, unfortunately, seems to be getting their sea legs under them a little bit. Now, this is the problem with Phoenix. It took Booker to get 52 points tonight. I mean, this is why I don't trust them in the playoffs. They have to have these huge kind of performances. And when they do, they look amazing because of the big 3, Beal and Booker and Durant. But when they're not getting it, I mean, they look like a pretty pedestrian team. And it's hard to ask them to win 16 straight games, not include maybe 17, including the play-in, to win an NBA title game when you're asking your stars to carry the load every single night. One injury, one knee tweak, and they're away from really being done. So we need the Kings start losing. I think at this point we're rooting for the Mavs to beat the Warriors tomorrow night. They're playing. The Lakers aren't catching the Mavs because that's just probably not happening. They're 3.5 games up. The Mavs are a very good team. They're not going to lose the rest of the way out. So it'd just be better for them to beat the Warriors and give the Lakers even more space. The Lakers, they got back-to-back against 2 bad teams. They should beat them. They should get the starters rest. This is a perfect opportunity to get LeBron, AD rest, and a perfect opportunity for the bench to really, really give us some faith going forward. I think a successful bench outing tomorrow night is, somewhere in that 30 to 40 point range. The Lakers aren't built on a deep bench. They don't play a ton of guys, but they can't have nothing. I'm looking at Taurean Prince. I've been hard on him a lot this year. He's just got to be in the teens. He's got to be in that 14 to 16 range, something like that, offering something off the bench. I like seeing Max Christie get some more minutes. He only got 3 minutes the other night. Spencer Dinwiddie was very disappointing. You thought against his old team, Brooklyn, he'd really go off. 21 minutes, didn't even scratch. So I'm looking for Dinwiddie, Prince, and Christie to have better nights. Maybe Colin Castleton get some time. I know Jackson Hayes is back tomorrow night, so maybe not quite as much. But we need something. Something's got to come off the bench, and it with that, it'll give Ham the confidence to pull LeBron, to pull AD, to pull these guys, give them rest. Because as we saw the other night, we saw in the Memphis game, I mean, the Lakers got up huge, and the Memphis cut it to 7, I believe. The Nets cut it to 8. I mean, those games, it never felt like they were truly in jeopardy because the Lakers still had pretty good control, but they had to put the bench back in, or they had to put the starters back in. So it'd be great to see a blowout, especially on the first night of a back-to-back, where they just blow them out and they're resting their guys the entire fourth quarter and maybe some of the third. That would be great. And hopefully, as I mentioned, tomorrow night it's a boring post-game show because we're talking about how the Lakers went in there and beat them by 30. Vegas has the spread at minus 12.5. They're expecting a blowout. So hopefully that's what we get. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Check back in with Alan for post-game show tomorrow night. I'll be in the comments reading your guys' stuff, and appreciate it. Go Lakers.